The stars on a soldier look better than the stars in the sky. Hello everyone, I'm Khushi Yadav. I got recommended from 24 SSB Bangalore in my first attempt, and today I'll be discussing with you some short tips and tricks that helped me perform better in my group discussion. I can assure you that by the end of this video, you'll be more confident and you'll have a proper plan of action on how to start working on your communication and expressions. So make sure you keep watching this video till the end. The contents of this video will be divided into 4 major parts. First, I'll be giving you a brief introduction on the importance of communication and expressions in your SSB. Then, we'll be talking about the 2 types of approaches that can be used to improve your communication and expressions. Then, we'll move forward to the implementation of communication and expressions in your group discussion and your group planning exercise. And finally, I'll also give you some tips on how to perform better in your command task and your final group task. The SSB comprises of 3 tasks: psychology, GTO, and interview. One out of these 3 tasks, that is psychology, is completely written. 2 out of these 3 tasks, that is GTO and your interview, communication and expression plays a major role. You'll have to speak no matter what. क्योंकि हम हनुमान तो है नहीं कि सीना खोल के दिखा दें. We will have to speak. Because you also might have heard, जो दिखता है वो ही बिकता है. Similarly, जो बोलता है वो ही सुना जाता है. Please note, when I say communication and expressions, I don't necessarily mean talking in English. By communication and expressions, I mean that there should be a natural flow in your thoughts and a lot of clarity. Even before your group discussion or your lecturate, the assessors brief you and they clearly mention that you can shift to Hindi in the course of that particular task and revert to English as soon as possible. What does this show? This shows that the quality of your opinion and your thought process matters more than your language. Having said that, there are 2 approaches that can be taken to improve your communication and expressions. First approach is holistically. It will take easily 6 to 7 months in showing results, but don't worry, I'll be helping you in that as well. The second approach is by doing smart work. By this approach, you'll be able to see results within 1 month, so you can easily start preparing 1 month before your SSB. We'll be using this approach because we want to see quick results. People might tell you that the role of your body language comes into play during your narration or your group discussion. However, according to me, the role of your body language comes into play as soon as you step inside the SSB. Because the attitude that you carry on day 1 will decide the attitude that you have till day 5. So, be observant, be alert, and most importantly, behave like an officer. Henceforth, we'll be starting discussing the short tips and tricks of the group discussion. These tips and tricks are applicable for the group discussion of the screening, as well as the group discussion and group planning exercise of your GTO. Talking about the group discussion for the screening, the first thing that has to be kept in mind is that you should initiate the group discussion. What does this mean? This does not mean that immediately after the narration is complete, you will start jumping to initiate the group discussion. It doesn't have to look unnatural. If because of some reason you were not able to initiate, just wait for your cue and then enter the discussion. But make sure that you contribute in the theme building and you enter before the theme of the story is decided. You can use phrases like, let's first discuss ... or in my perception we should ... or maybe you can say, having discussed so and so, let's shift to ... I'll be discussing more such phrases with you in my subsequent videos so that during your group discussion you're more confident. Second very important thing to be kept in mind is be polite. Nowhere in your group discussion are you supposed to show hostility or passive aggression against your fellow candidates. Even if there is one candidate who is creating a lot of chaos and is not letting anyone speak, you will maintain your calm, because be rest assured that you're also being assessed for how you handle such candidates. Coming to the third thing that has to be kept in mind is interruption. Avoid interrupting fellow candidates. And if because of any reason you have to interrupt, say, I'm sorry to interrupt but, and then politely add your point. In case someone else is interrupting you, rather than leaving your point midway, you can say, kindly let me finish my point and then maybe we can come to you. In case people are interrupting each other, then you have to be the one to take the initiative and say, gentlemen or ladies or friends, it would be better if we let each other finish our points. In case of agreement, make sure you validate good points. You can say something like, that's a very good point, chess number so and so, or I agree with chess number so and so. In case of disagreement, avoid using extreme phrases like I don't agree with you or no, you're wrong. Rather than saying this, you can say something like I beg to differ and then add your point. Or maybe you can say something like, well, that's one way of looking at it. However, I feel, and then add your point. One very, very important point to note is that the D in GD is for discussion and not debate. So keep it like a discussion. One more thing that is encouraged is motivating fellow candidates to speak. You can use phrases like, I'm pretty sure chess number so and so must have a valid point to make. Let us give him or her a chance to speak. But make sure you're not putting a candidate in this situation who's way too scared or way too nervous. Let them gather their strength and thereafter help them out. In communication and expression, a very, very important thing to be considered is voice modulations. I'll be reading one paragraph in two different ways and you will be able to spot the difference by yourself. India celebrated its 75th Independence Day with great fanfare, flag-flying feasts and festivals at home and abroad. It indeed is a great moment to review and reflect on the occasion and also guide the nation going forward to meet the aspirations of all the people of India. India celebrated its 75th Independence Day with great fanfare, flag-flying feasts and festivals at home and abroad. It indeed is a great moment to review and reflect on the occasion and also guide the nation going forward to meet the aspirations of all the people of India. Do you think there was any difference in my grammar when I was reading the paragraph for the first time and then I read it for the second time? I don't think so. The only difference was the voice modulations. Voice modulations can make your speech many times more effective and efficient. Voice modulations is a separate topic altogether and we'll be practicing it in my subsequent videos. However, for now, let's keep it group discussion centric. The next point I want to discuss with you is expressions. While you're speaking, try to keep your expressions calm. Maybe smile a little, because if you keep your expressions tense, then it might reflect in your speech. You might end up sounding nervous or maybe aggressive. We don't want that, do we? Another thing I would like to discuss is quality of speech during group discussion. Make sure you always put quality over quantity when you're speaking. Suppose you have 10 points that you would like to make. Shortlist 5 best points out of those 10 points and use them. Sometimes the group discussion might get out of track. You should be the one to take the initiative and bring it back on track. You can use phrases like, gentlemen or ladies or friends, I think we might have deviated from the topic. Let's come back to it. Another very important thing to keep in mind is eye contact. Candidates tend to make eye contact with only one person in the group or maybe even the assessors out of nervousness. Make sure you maintain eye contact with your entire group and avoid eye contact with your assessors. Another very important thing to be kept in mind is your posture. Your back should be straight, your hand should be on your lap, and there should be minimal hand gestures. Actually, hand gestures play an important role in presenting your speech effectively. However, talking specifically about the SSB, it is a very formal setting. Subtle hand gestures are alright, but don't overdo it. You might feel that the role of communication and expressions will come straight away in your interview and conference next. However, we still have command task and the final group task. And as promised, I'm going to give you some tips on how to perform better in these two tasks as well. In command task, make sure you address your subordinates properly. You greet them and you brief them about the task in hand. I can make a separate short video on how to properly brief subordinates in command task. If you want that, let me know in the comment section. Keep a check on your subordinates and make sure they're not breaking any rules. Moving forward to the FGT. In your SSB by now you'd have completed your PGT, HGT as well as your command task. So you will have sufficient exposure on how to solve obstacles. So by the time the obstacles of FGT come in front of you, you'll be ready with solutions. What I want you to do now is present those solutions to your group and also actively participate in implementing those solutions. Please note that GTO के सारे tasks are equally important and आपको कहीं पे भी ढीला नहीं पड़ना है. To conclude, I would like to say that body language does not develop overnight. It takes time. In this video, I gave you short tips and tricks that will come really handy in your SSB. And I'll also be helping you holistically improve your communication and expressions. So stay tuned and I'll meet you in my next video. Bye bye.